Hi everyone. So in this video, I'll be talking about applying for your study permit in a country that is not your home country. Maybe you're there for work or for study, and you want to, apply for Canada visa from that country. So you really have to plan very well. I've seen a lot of things, and people reaching out to me that are applying for Canada study permit from different countries other than the country of their citizenship. So there are about 5 things that you can just take notice of, and it might help you kind of decide how you are to put your application together. Now, there is usually not a lot of problem. In fact, there's no issues at all if you have dual citizenship. Let's say you are from Ghana and you have, citizenship in Italy. Okay, so you will be treated as an Italian. Okay, if you are using your Italian passport. Okay, irrespective of whether your home country is Ghana, you will be treated as an Italian. That's the country for you're using to do your application. And if you are a permanent resident of another country, you can also be treated, somehow you can also be treated as, close to like a citizen of that country, although you're not. It may take a while depending on the policy of that country. But if you have, let's say you are from Nigeria and you have a permanent residency in Ghana or maybe in Europe, any other country, or maybe UK as the case may be, if you are applying for from there, you can easily say that, oh, when I'm done with my studies in Canada, I am going back to that country. It's not a problem because you are a permanent resident of that country. You can easily say, I'm a German now, though I'm from Ghana. Upon completion of my studies in Canada, I'm going back to Germany. So because you have a good ties to that country, there is not going to be a problem, okay? The issue becomes when you are a temporary resident in that country, okay? This is when you put a lot of things in mind. For example, either you are studying or you are studying or working, okay? If you are visiting, depending on how long you're visiting, I would say if you're visiting is for a short time, just go back to your home country and apply, okay? But there is no rule that prevents you from applying for a Canada visa when you are just visiting, another country, right? But I was saying, if it's a short visit, just hang on and, when you go back to your home country, you can apply, except if the visiting is maybe for like a year or 6 months and you want to apply, it's okay. Just put a lot of things in mind. Number one thing is that you have to make sure that you have a valid status in that your current country of residence. So which means if your paper have expired, then it's just a no-go area. It's already a red flag because when you apply, you must show your current papers, right, in that particular country. In fact, there was someone that I was helping kind of work on admission, and the person was from a country or was currently working in a country in Europe. When the person applied for admission, they asked the person to submit the resident permit in that country. So when the person applied for admission, they asked the person to submit a resident permit from that country. So you can imagine that if that person was working in, maybe they've gone past their stay, as a case maybe there is already a problem even for admission. And in fact, it's going to be a bigger problem in terms of visa application. So that's another thing. Make sure you have a valid status, okay, as of a time where you're applying for the Canada visa. Then number 2, if you are a student in that country, so it even becomes more complicated, right? You have to, and let's say you're doing a master's, and let's say 1 year into the master's, you're like, oh, I don't want to continue this master's anymore. I want to apply for another program in Canada. So you're not just going to discard that. You're going to explain in details to the visa officer why you are leaving your program in your current country of residence and apply for a study permit in Canada, it has to be very clear. One of my mentees, applied for a study permit from the UK, and the person was still a student. The first application was rejected, and one of the reasons the visa officer gave was that, it doesn't make sense to me that you are in a particular country studying. Now you're saying you want to leave that country to another country, to Canada. So the person actually reapplied. We kind of worked together. I gave the person more, ideas, and they did a very elaborate explanation as to the challenges they were facing in that country and why they want to move to Canada to go study in Canada. So if you can extensively justify it, that can be accepted, but it's a very tough situation, okay? The third scenario is going to be when you're working. Okay, when you're working, now you have to make sure that you are gainfully employed, full-time, if possible, in your current country of residence. I've seen people, it works differently for everybody, okay? I've seen a few people that maybe they graduated from what particular country, they go back to their home country to apply. That's fine. If you just graduated and you don't have a job yet, the reason for denial I've seen in this situation, they are going to say your current employment status in your country of residence is not sufficient to support your stated course of study. Sometimes, even though you have, even though you have the finances, sometimes you don't go, if this person finished this program and couldn't get a job, then something is wrong. So try to see if you can get a job in that place full-time if possible and apply. Okay, that way they can say, okay, this person is getting employed. It doesn't mean that when you just graduate and you want to apply that you can't apply. You can actually do so, okay? Just have to, I'm just saying from what I've seen in a lot of rejections, okay? The fourth thing I want to say that you should keep in mind is that you should really plan your after study, what you want to do after study, okay? In terms of, if I finish, I'm going back to my home country, right? Because when you are a temporary resident in a country, you don't really have a lot of ties to that country. So you're not really obliged to go back as compared to when you are a permanent resident of that country. So if you want to go back to your home country, you have to factor that into the plan in terms of, how you're going to go about, justifying to the visa officer that if I finish this program, I'm going back, because now you finish in your current country, you didn't go back. So now you want to convince them that when you finish from your home, from your current country, you're going to go back. So it's a lot of work, okay? So take some time. You don't have to rush this kind of study permit, okay? Take your time, take, days, even weeks, planning, reading, doing research, asking for feedback to see if it's convincing enough. And ask yourself, if you are the visa officer and you are seeing this kind of explanation, is it justifiable to you? In fact, that's kind of the way I try to train my mentees to approach visa application. Put yourself in the shoes of the visa officer, even though you can't actually enter somebody's shoes. Okay, I'm just joking. Ask yourself, if I see this story, is it going to be convincing to me as a person? If it's not, then, if there's anything confusing, just get it clarified, okay? The last thing I'm going to say to keep in mind is that if all of these things work and does not work in terms of, trying to justify where you're studying or another country or working, and it's becoming complicated to explain, and maybe you don't have a job and you don't even have finances saved in that country, my advice is to go back to your home country and apply from there, okay? I know this is going to be expensive, but if you do this, you're already removing that lack of home ties to that particular country. You're already removing that employment status in that your current country Although employment status is going to be something important in your home country, but you can always, work your way around and to put one of these two things together to make sure you submit the right document. So, if you want to stay in your home country, one of the things in your current country, one of the things you can do is that when you're applying for your admission, you can always use your home address. There's nothing wrong with that. Use your home address in your current country in your home country, and then when you want to do the visa application, you pack your bags and then go do the application, and then make your plans now based on your home country. But you may be asking, that just finish from another country. What am I going to say? Simple. You can say, I just finished from that particular program in that country. Now I'm back home and I still feel, there are still some deficiency in some of the things that I could learn. Now I want to go do this course in Canada so that when I finish, I'll be able to start this job or start this employment or do this or do that. It's all about a story. Be a storyteller. Master the art of storytelling. And let the visa officer, as they're reading through the letter of intent, they're like shaking at them and like, this is sweeter than honey. Okay. And it's captivating. That is the approach that you should take if you are in a country that is outside of your, country of citizenship. So if you are looking for someone to talk to, if your situation is a bit more complex than what I've described here, I would say reach out to me. There's going to be a link in the description. Just visit my website. Contact me, sign up for my mentorship program or my one-on-one consultation. Reach out to me and I'll be glad to look at the situation and offer one or two advice that will help you apply, get approval the first time. If you found this content useful, why not consider hitting that subscribe button and also like, and I want to put it in the comment section, which particular country are you and what are some of the challenges that you have in terms of your application. Put it in the comment section. I'll definitely look it up and then I'll give you some suggestions. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.